Hello, welcome back to my series in Factorio, in which I'm attempting to build my very first mega factory. My name is Azrael. Come along with me as we continue our adventure in 60 frames per second. Alright, mainly because the recording software that I use to make these videos just suddenly changed, and I just decided not to bother with changing it back to the 30 frames per second. It makes things look a little smoother, a little more cool over there. Anyway, the first order of business is that we restarted research after the little preview of building the defensive perimeter in the previous episode. I hadn't been doing any research during that entire time, so I started to back up again. The only issue with that is that the research that we're doing right now, the inserter capacity bonus 7, is it's one of the few, if not only, technologies that requires a lot of science packs. It requires 4 of the red and green, 3 of the blue, and 2 of the purple, if I am not mistaken. My science facility is not set up for that kind of a capacity to be feeding all 40 laboratories. It's the one technology for which I'm just not prepared for. So you'll see as I'm walking around here that the labs are not all running. There's usually only like 7 or 8 of them up at a time. I was up there fixing some bottlenecks in the green science pack, eliminating the need for the long-handed inserters. In the meantime, I noticed that there is also a biter nest moving in fairly close to my facility. I don't have the time to go take care of it right now because I have other plans. So first of all, I'm going to make some more room in my inventory by setting up the collection chests for my copper and iron plates, something that I had not actually done yet since the rebuild. And I'm also going to be crafting up some more mining drills, because it is also time for us to go and set up a new mining facility for iron ore. So in the meantime, to protect my base a little bit from that biter infestation up there, I'm setting up a few laser turrets and just protecting the eastern perimeter. Get a couple of those things up in there. And of course that will eventually be moved as I extend the miscellaneous facility out to the east. But for the time being, hopefully that will keep them in check. The next thing I wanted to do before I go set up a new mining operation is to get my sulfuric acid being produced, because if you recall, I actually tore down all of that, the production, back when I did the whole tear down, and I just sort of been coasting by on the resources that we had in the storage tanks. Well, I've noticed that those storage tanks are now starting to run low, so it's not going to be very long until they run out completely. So before that happens, I want to go ahead and get this set up. I'm going to try to set up a similar situation that I had over here. These do require iron plates, so I wanted to put them a little closer to the steel production so that I could siphon off a couple of plates as they were needed. Neither one of those, neither the sulfuric acid production or steel, takes very many iron plates, so they should have no problem playing nice with each other. So it's just a matter of getting all of these pipes hooked back up. Alright, and now it just needs the iron plates themselves. And have those siphon right off of here. And then it just needs power. And there it goes. Alright, now one final thing is that we need to actually get the fluid out of the chemical plants and put back onto the main bus. So I'm just bringing those over, trying to find room for them between all of my pipes, and I realize that this is lining up right with the petroleum gas line that feeds my circuit facility. So I'm going to have to move these around a little bit I want to try to find a better spot for them where they're not going to be in the way. So I'll have them go up from here instead. And I run out of pipe to ground segments in my inventory, so got to get that done. Start some more research. Finally got that science pack grubbing technology done. So my science facility should be able to handle everything from here on out. In the meantime, I'm just going to check on these pipes because I don't want what I'm producing now to go and fill up these storage tanks, and it actually is doing that right now. So I want to get a small pump. For that I need some electric engines, and of course at this point I don't realize that I actually had a small pump already in my inventory, so that's alright. Now I'll just have a couple extra ones. Alright, and then get power up over there so that all flows out of those storage tanks. Speaking of storage tanks, I forgot to set up a new section of them over here, so I'm going to go ahead and get those in place now. Alright, that should do it. Okay. And I actually forgot that I had already crafted up all the mining drills that I'm needing for the new iron outpost. The iron deposit that I'm planning on utilizing has a couple of biter nests surrounding it. So before I head over there, I'm going to make sure that I have a couple of poison capsules in my inventory, as well as all the ammunition that I need for my turrets. And one more thing I want to do is get some solid fuel to make sure that my trains don't run out. Ooh, that was close. And alright, so there we go. And of course, when I went back and checked later, it turns out that none of my trains had really really gotten anywhere near low on their fuel. But that's okay. This just makes sure that I don't have to worry about it again for a while. And I need to set up some more feeding systems over here. And this will probably get an overhaul at some point to make it easier to actually fuel the trains. And then I'm going to go down here. There's a small stone deposit right here. I'm going to be needing a lot more stone if I'm going to be building up a defensive perimeter. As it is right now, I think I have enough wall segments for 8 more of those little pockets that I previewed in the last episode. That's of course not including all of the walls that are already around the base. So when I do set up my new defensive perimeter, I'll probably just be tearing down a bunch of the existing walls, such as this section here, in favor of the new design. So I probably actually have quite a bit more than that. Alright, before I do anything more, I'm going to go ahead and get these biters out of my way. It's just, some traditional turret creeping. This shouldn't be too difficult, because there's only a couple of spawners over here and some worms. Not even big worms, they're just little things, and of course fire makes them melt so nice. Alright, and I want to get rid of that raiding party up there as well. Alright, 1 down, 2 more to go. Need to clear out a little space here. And the AI just has such a difficult time going through trees. I'm just going to go ahead and make their inevitable doom a little easier and more convenient. We should all be so lucky, right? Alright, and then I overstep my bounds, and we're going to try this one more time. Alright, taking it a little more cautiously. There we go. 2 down. And it's only taken me 1 death so far. I call that a win. Alright, I want to clear all these trees out of this deposit. This may not look like much, but hopefully it'll last me for quite a while. As it is, the first iron mine I set up is still going along even after all this time. And that was the first one that I started with. That was actually I believe that was the starting area iron deposit. So it's just now running out. So this one shouldn't run out anytime soon either. Alright, while I'm up here, I'm going to go ahead and check on my other copper mine. This thing is starting to run low. So many of these iron, or the mining drills are dry. And just, putting them all down to get as much of this done as possible. There's only a handful still there, but there's still a few more pockets of resources. I'm going to see if I can get these all lined up in a way to make sure that they all get mined up. Even if they don't get a whole lot, they can still get a little bit, and that's all I need. And there we go. And that should do it for that area down there. I just want to reorganize a few of these power lines because I like things to be efficient. Alright, we are starting to really run low on our research, so hopefully we can get all that done soon. I know that in the 0.15 update, they have also just recently hinted at a research revolution in which they're not only going to be reworking the recipe for the blue science pack, making it a little bit easier, because as it is right now, the jump from the green science pack up to the blue one is a bit of a major step. It's very daunting. I remember the very first time I played, I spent sleepless nights worrying about how I was going to get that done. And I'm not even joking about that. I actually stayed up at night saying, how am I going to produce all of this stuff? I mean, sure, I eventually figured it out, but man, that was a headache. Anyway, what they're talking about doing is easing up on the recipe for the blue science pack. The purple science pack is going to be changed entirely so that because right now the purple science pack is just sort of a joke. You just stuff some alien artifacts into a chest and watch it go. In the new designs, they're not going to be using alien artifacts for any of the science packs. The purple science pack is now going to be called the production science pack, along with the military science pack and the high-tech science pack. They are going to be apparently used for more specific and non-linear approaches to the way research works. And it's shaping up to be a rather interesting change. It will mean that your science-producing facilities are going to be changing in a very drastic way. While I'm over here, I'm going to go ahead and take care of this biter nest as well, because it's a little bit too close as well. That was really close, man. You can hear my heartbeat going there. And that's not in the game, that's mine right now. I've got a real problem with that. Anyway, the science packs now are going to require, especially the specialty science packs, are going to be requiring things such as pump jacks, level 2 assembly machines, processing units, which actually is a really nice thing because as of right now, I'm not even using processing units. I've got some things set up for it, but I'm not using them. Right now, what do you use processing units for? Modules and not much else. Maybe some rocket parts that are going to be coming up. And while I'm setting this up, I get notifications that things are being destroyed up in my science facility. I'm going to head back up there and check on what's going on. But yeah, those changes to the science, the research revolution is what they're calling it. It does seem like it's going to be making the game a lot more interesting, especially for all of the logistics involved in figuring it out. So I'm really kind of looking forward to playtesting that. So, but in the meantime, my existing research has to be done in a very specific way. I got those biters gone. I'm going to put up some more defenses around here because apparently I had some large gaps in the coverage. So hopefully that will be a little bit nicer. And we are finally researching the rocket silo. This is pretty much the second to last technology tree that we have left. So yeah, we are just about at the bottom of the barrel. After this is just going to be robot follower count, and that has something like 20 levels to it for some reason or another. Stopping off in my engine production, because I'm going to be needing to make a new diesel engine. And this train has been sitting here on manual this whole time. It probably happened when I removed the second cargo wagon off of there. That probably has some sort of default behavior of switching it into manual that I just did not realize. So that's going to be a major boost to iron plate production back in the main facility. It's getting my construction bots to be repairing a few of those turrets along the way. Alright, this is going to be the new iron ore train. It's going to be the station for right here. I'm going to make sure that it's set up exactly to the station. You know, an interesting thing that they might want to consider adding, I actually just thought about, is when you set a train down on a track that already has a station or a signal on it, perhaps there should be some way of making the parts that you're putting down, the locomotive or the wagon, snap to those little guides that they added in there in the 0.13. Because I love seeing those guides, but sometimes you can't quite put the train exactly on them. So, you know, maybe like holding down shift or something, or whatever, I don't know. Maybe shift does something else. But you know, something to just help it line up exactly where that guide happens to be. Anyway, enough rambling on my part. What we're doing here is just setting up all of the belts to be carrying the ore to the train. And since I have 4 belts, I'm going to go ahead and do a balancer here, just to make sure that nothing gets clogged up and everything is working the way it needs to work. Alright, then one of the last steps here is to get everything powered up. And I know that it's really dark right now and it might be kind of hard to see what I'm doing, but basically I'm just setting up steel power poles between all of my mining drills. There is a lot of mining drills down here, I know, but basically this is just going to help saturate the entire field, and then as time goes on and things start to what's the word? Start to drain down a little bit, I have room to move things around to prioritize certain sections, like I have done in other parts of the facility. All right, there's power. Of course, it's not actually hooked up to the grid yet. There we go. Now all of those drills go, and now it is time to set up a wall around here. Now, in the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and set up the wall kind of how I've had it in the past. I'm not going to bother with trying to put up the defensive perimeter because I'm still kind of working on that design. You saw me playing around with that a lot in the previous episode, but it's not quite ready for deployment at the moment. So it's just putting things down the way that I know to do them for right now. But instead of putting down gun turrets, because I do not have anything back in my factory that is producing armor-piercing ammo, I'm going to be sticking with the laser turrets for now, which is going to be a bit of a drain on the power network. So that is something I'm going to have to address here in the near future. It'll probably be time to set up a new solar field somewhere. So we'll have to go out and scout a new area for that. Maybe even where Iron Mine 1 is still on its last legs. Once that area gets completely dried up, it's just going to be a big empty area. So maybe I can put down some solar panels up there. Who knows? We'll see as time goes on. But in the meantime, right here, I'm just setting up all of the defensive items. I don't suspect that I'll be needing too much more than this at the moment, but you never know. Laser turrets are not quite as effective as the gun turrets, but they have a larger range, so they have more overlap with each other. So hopefully that will offset the the downside. And now it's just a matter of time of getting the the rail network connected so that I can get this thing working. There's a nice little roundabout right over there. Let's see if I can utilize that. Yeah, this is going to be kind of close. But if I can actually keep that roundabout there, because that roundabout is letting the copper train turn around. And roundabouts are fine as long as you're not expecting a lot of traffic. Ooh, hey, I just got an achievement. Awesome. Anyway, yeah, this is kind of cutting it close on the other side, though. So, the problem with laying tracks like this is that I won't be able to put signals on anything. So, and of course I run out of rail segments in my inventory. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and call that the end of the episode today, though. I want to thank you very much for watching. My name is Azrael. Never stop building.